Just recently, Jeff Keighley's Video Game Awards released their Video Game of the Year award nominees. The nominees for a Game of the Year, whatever. And I was surprised to see Alan Wake 2 on that list. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot to love about this game, but is it a Game of the Year contender? I don't think so. The title of this video, I hope, speaks to the confusion I have with this game, and I hope I can spark a bit of a convo on Alan Wake 2 and the issues I think it has. Is it a bad game? No. But is it deserving of the highest praise? Well, I hope I can convince you to turn that back down a little. So let's just get started. Now, to start out, I love this game. Not like the love between me and your mother. That's more of a transactional thing, if you get what I'm saying.
Damn.
But Alan Wake 2, coming off of its first iteration, shows an insane amount of growth in the 13 years it's taken to get a fully fledged sequel, and that's what it's riding into the Game of the Year discussion right now. But AW 2 made sure not to get too far away from the original game, as it maintains many similar looking effects, and of course recreating the town of Bright Falls. This sequel feels like an awesome ode to and evolution on the original formula of Alan Wake 1, with tons of new spins on the story, though a lot of them are very good and very bad. But we'll get to that later. Alan Wake's 1 and 2 both focused on their atmosphere and both really succeeded. Alan Wake games had this serious ability to make you on one hand feel so safe that you feel like you're cuddling up with 20,000 puppies, but then make you feel so vulnerable that it makes you feel like you're getting gaslit by your cheating girlfriend, just leaving you intensely mind. Alan Wake 2's sound design is also just top tier, with many wind and rustling sounds making me feel uneasy, as you never know when a taken enemy will try and just get you. I had to constantly look around and wonder if I should be worried, and that is something I wish more games attempted to do, especially horror games today. Alan Wake 2 further cements this feeling in Alan's sections, giving you shadow enemies that can blend in with harmless shadow people that you see around the area. They can sneak up and ambush you directly in your view before you even know they're an actual enemy. Alan Wake 2 seems to love leaving you in a confusing state where either you have no idea how reality even works in Saga's sections, or Alan's sections making you feel paranoid about every single shadow you see around you. Then focused around the style of the game, with the writing being one of the biggest upgrades. The game evokes this awesome style that seeks to mimic pop crime authors like James Patterson or Tom Straw. You may know his alias as Richard Castle. The writer's prose is a term used for this type of writing, describing being very detailed to create the theater of the mind as if you were reading a novel. And the use of these things gives the game an incredible style to it. But in this, I would defend the game here. Many call this game's writing style pretentious or cheesy. And it is cheesy, mind you, but I'd argue that's kind of what it's supposed to be like. The writing of James Patterson does have a similar feel to it, wherein you can give stupid names. Alan Wake and Saga Anderson meet Nikki Heat and Alex Cross. The latter names being the names of the main characters of Patterson's and Straw's books. Patterson himself is actually very bare bones on exposition. He relies a lot on dialogue rather than telling you the story outright much of the time, and it's the same here for Alan Wake 2, and I love that. All of what I've said here are the main reasons for why Alan Wake 2 should be a Game of the Year contender, and how can you possibly argue against it? On one hand, having an incredibly creative style to it, on the other, having gameplay that makes me feel on edge constantly. But that's where the question comes up. Is Alan Wake 2 a Game of the Year contender? No, and the reasons come from those same things that make it so good. How do these compliments turn into criticisms? Well, let me show you. Alan Wake 2 shouldn't be a Game of the Year contender because there are basic writing rules that are broken that come up within a game that shows it has the talent to not make these mistakes. One of the main rules that you should follow when you're writing a story is this: chart each prominent character's personal goal or personal conflict with the protagonist. Within the game, this rule is followed, but it's not used the way it's intended. The point of doing this charting is to help flesh out the world and characters, to help you understand why they are behaving in certain ways towards Saga, for instance. But if when you chart those points and they make no sense, then you're not following the spirit of the rule. I'm gonna get into a few spoilers now just to illustrate this point. If you don't want those, just understand the behavior and choices made by the characters, the Koskela brothers, Saga, and even the main villain make absolutely no sense. So spoilers coming up. Skip here, wherever my editor has put the timestamp. We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's go to the spoilers bit. So, in the story, you discover that the Koskela brothers are the leaders of the Cult of the Tree. The same cult you discover are actually the good guys fighting Mr. Scratch or the Dark Presence. The Koskela brothers constantly, throughout the story, know who Saga is. They even trust Saga. But when Saga finds the clicker, the item they need to help keep away from Scratch, the main villain, they don't speak to Saga, explain what's happening, hell, even just prove to her that they are the good guys. Instead, they constantly leave her in the dark on everything. Actually, Saga has been gone because reality was rewritten, so they can't possibly think her coming back is going to do much for them. But Saga is literally investigating a case that will lead her directly on the path that will have her discover the supernatural stuff that is going on. Why not bring her up to speed quicker? Because also, Saga has powers to literally let her delve into the minds of people to see if they're telling the truth. So you can't even argue that Saga wouldn't even be able to trust them because she can tell if they're lying. Second, this is just one example for Mr. Scratch. Why does Mr. Scratch, when he is about to be handed the clicker by Saga himself, reveal himself to her? All he has to do is lie one more time and he will get the item he needs. The ending of the game points to Scratch failing over and over because the story is a spiral, repeating itself over and over. The actions of people and their interactions with one of the protagonists makes zero sense. I can understand that maybe the writers want to possibly play with the idea of the story being rewritten, and so people are trying like tons of different avenues or options they have in these multiple timelines, but writers, you never once pointed to that this is what could be occurring or driving the actions of these characters. So when this isn't even hinted at or mentioned, then you have ultimately written a story that doesn't make any sense. Okay, so spoilers are over. I just want to stress that if you didn't get to hear what I said, just remember this. Characters' goals and how they work to achieve those goals are important when building a story. If a character is doing something that doesn't make sense in pursuit of a goal, then you better have something there to explain this off-the-wall decision making. But in Alan Wake 2, you will start asking questions of the Koskela brothers and wonder if they have the intelligence of a goldfish almost. I still like the game, but these mistakes within the writing of this game do limit my enjoyment. When I see characters behaving in certain ways that don't align with their end goals, it makes the entire story fall apart. This is something I didn't expect to find when playing through this game, given the caliber of the team making the game. And when you're talking about a Game of the Year contender, you shouldn't be able to find such a glaring hole in the game that's so wide your mom could fit through. God, I'm just loving the mom jokes today. Jesus. But now, I want to add something a little more. I want to talk about Saga, because she's just so annoying. I'm not talking about her character or her writing even necessarily. I'm talking about the Mind Place. It's stupid. It's like the devs were sitting around a room and wondering how they can slow down the game and make Saga Captain Obvious. Saga has to put notes on a board that compiles everything you learn in every part of the game. Did you find something about how to figure out the password to a computer? Well, stop, go in the Mind Place and make sure you listen to Saga recount that same info you just found and already figured out what it means. But when you have all the info to solve the puzzle, Saga won't tell you how to solve the puzzle. She instead just remains silent and says, well, she knows how to do it now. What? So you know how to solve the puzzle, but the player can't know. We have to put it together even though technically it's Saga doing the puzzle. I understand the game mechanic aspect, but bro, it just doesn't make sense. Why make us sit through Captain Obvious's TED Talk reciting info I know already and then not explaining the mechanics of the puzzle? It's a bit strange, you gotta admit. But then, at some points, you'll be forced to listen to Saga recite info you already deduced or know. Wow, Saga the Bookers interrupted the ritual at the start of the game? Oh, thank goodness you were here, Saga, to tell me that obvious information. Wow, Saga, the item that's the key to everything in the game to stop the main villain? The main villain wants that item? Me just in my pants and call me Sandy. What a revelation, Saga. Thank you. Now picture Saga forcing you to do that exact process over and over and over again for 20 hours roughly. In the beginning of the game, she's able to deduce things that in no way logically follow at all, which I don't think I'm revealing much here, that Saga has some sort of power due to the information she gains from her profiling mechanic. But later in the game, Saga is shocked that she has a supernatural power? Like, lady, you've been listening directly to the thoughts of dead people the entire game. What do you think is happening?
I see dead people.
Did they teach you how to commune with the dead at the FBI Academy? All this just goes to make Saga way more annoying to play than she needed to be. You're forced a lot of the time to interact with this fairly pointless mechanic, and it just wastes your time. And it's a lot of time wasting. I'd say it balloons the playtime of the game by a few hours at least. Now, to be fair, you're not automatically always forced to interact with it, but there are times where you have to sit through a profiling cutscene that literally is telling you information you figured out already, and you're forced to do it. Like, don't do this. Well, I guess with all that said, I guess I should start talking. Whoa, wait a minute. I forgot to bring up the last great thing about this game. The musical section. Hit it! Oh, yeah. Oh, this is what Daddy wanted right here. Yes. More of this cringy shit right here. This is what I wanted. Oh, yeah. Woo! Oh, my God. Nightmare. Oh, this is what Daddy needed right here. This is what we needed right here, baby. This is the shit right now. Woo! Just inject this dumb, cringy in my veins directly now. Trapped in the never-ending nightmare. Oh yeah, baby! Get out of my face. That's what we're doing right now, yes. Woo! Yes, baby. Anyway, once again, I love this game. It was truly one of my favorite and at times least favorite experiences in gaming. But honestly, if you like this game, I totally get it. Alan Wake 2 is an experience that is reminiscent of the last Alan Wake game and brings it forward into the future in a great way. I wish the best to Remedy, as they seem to have a lot of talent on their team, and it shows in how well both Control, their last game, and Alan Wake 2 have been received by the gaming public. And I truly can't wait to see what Remedy does next, but I hope everyone can calm down a bit on the praise for this game, just a little bit, to make sure we're getting something even better in the future. As though this game has flaws, I didn't enjoy it as much as maybe you did, maybe. By critiquing their games, I hope to encourage something better. One more thing though. Also, if replacing Alan Wake 2 with something, it's not Starfield. Starfield should not replace Alan Wake 2 on the Game of the Year and awards nominees. You gotta remember, guys, I gotta get my PlayStation propaganda checks to make sure Xbox titles failed altogether. So there's nothing for you guys. Remember, you can't have anything for Xbox, even though Hi-Fi Rush was nominated for something, so. Which is a good game, by the way. Honestly, it's a good game. Starfield is not Game of the Year, though. So please subscribe to the channel, like the video, or dislike it, who cares. Comment down below if you disagree with me. I would love to hear what you thought about the game. And if you think I'm wrong or whatever, most of you think I'm wrong, but there's just something about Alan Wake 2, and it just needs to be said that there's some things here that if they're gonna point to, oh, there's different timelines and stuff, they need to figure that out. They gotta put that in the game. But yeah, whatever. Subscribe, like the video, do all that stuff. I love you guys. Bye-bye.